Now it's time for the second session of the storytelling presentations. And now our first speaker, Mr. Mikko Salo, is FaktabaariEDU co-founder and Finnish Transparency NGO chair. In 2014, Mikko founded the multi-award-winning fact-checking service FaktabaariEDU, bringing accuracy to European Parliamentary elections debate. He is currently preparing to fact-check the 2019 European Parliamentary elections while developing the FaktabaariEDU media literacy project. He will be talking about FaktabaariEDU fact-checking as a tool to teach critical media literacy to future voters.
Welcome to FaktabaariEDU. This is all how it got started. Hello, Kari. It's Mikko here from FaktabaariEDU. Hey, I was told that the French-Finnish school was very interested on the media literacy and some sort of tools for the schools because of the new curricula introduced. Is that true?
Yes, let's go for it.
Very good. Okay. And this is a true story. 1 year ago, and I have to say thank Evans Foundation for the kickoff because people need deadlines. And Evans Foundation, the prize. The Media Education Prize was a deadline for us because we had ideas here and there, but let's finally do something about it and create a and apply FaktabaariEDU methodology and do fact-checking as a tool to teach critical media literacy for future voters. And as we boldly call it, vaccinate the future voters against populism. So a noble cause. First, I would like to tell you some facts about FaktabaariEDU as such. Then we go to the education and some cases within the 10 minutes, I hope. Kari might need to go for the airport, so Kari, thanks for sharing the 5 minutes. You had some of you chance to participate his own workshop yesterday. All the slides will be available in our website, and we will tweet something on that one later on. So first of all, FaktabaariEDU is a fact-checking service for fact-based public election debates since 2014. We are against this post-phenomenon, self-fulfilling prophecy in a way. It is enabled by the NGO, we talk about it, run primarily by the volunteers, and we try to build a kind of a positive deterrent. Let's politicians and media to keep it within the facts. And we try to empower people with the skills and tools to do it themselves. Because let's face it, I mean, no fact-checking service, no journalists alone can kind of fight the huge challenge we got. We are a member of the International Fact-Checking Network. We have tried to kind of find corporations within that one and trying to push the international network towards this direction as well, next to kind of more classical journalistic approach. Everything is about transparency. You can do political fact-checking for all purposes, but if you commit to this code, at least and publicly, so you are already on the right line and you are all the time kind of checked as well, that is very healthy. We have a special interest on the European affairs. I can come back to that on the lates. We are checking the truthfulness of the claims, advocating fact-checking that I am doing now, and promoting now media literacy with this pilot we are doing with Kari's school. So in practice, what we did, started with a small group, quite classical expert empowering the crowds. We use experts. We don't know about these things, but we were able to get a lot of goodwill from the expert informaticians who really care about the facts. Second, elections, national elections. We did it with the journalism schools. We tried to empower the journalism students with the good old journalism, going back to the basis, how you can differentiate yourselves of all the blogs and everything that is coming by keeping it in with the facts, doing your verification right, and so on. We later with them extended the concept now to the European level, and this project is ongoing, and this was referred with the European Parliamentary Aspirations. Now we did with Kari School now the municipal elections. In this case in Helsinki area, first with crowdfunding, we were able to get a lot of attention to the issue because people have to support us in order to make it happen. And then we were able to work with the future voters that I believe quite a lot myself, because coming to this age you become skeptical about everything and you choose your facts. This is also proven, I think, with some academic studies that it gets very difficult. But with the youth there is always the chance. So, edu. Referring to Kari's presentation, this is like what makes it easier in Finland, because they were forced to do something. So there was a kind of a positive kick. And as I said, Evans Foundation was the kind of a little catalyst on us getting active on that. Joint to approach critical media literacy skill with the objective to test tools and learn debunking. Very important, teachers and fact checkers empower the future voter to observe media as fact checkers. Pilots, all that. We are going for an open source tool for the Finnish curriculum. That's the first step. Once again, done the idea. Kari students working on this concept. With our tools, we are openly available on our website, unfortunately in Finnish at this stage. So, how do we empower the students with media literacy? We use this kind of a simple four-step approach on that one. First, they need to understand let's say the basics of journalism and the key concepts of fact-checking, including the transparency code and all that. They need to know basic things about the disinformation and this kind of a theory, so to say. We worked on testing at least with the elections, because these have a special meaning, as we all know, for the future of the democracy as well. We empower and exercise with the students. So basically the students were some sort of Sherlock Holmes fact checkers that we will try to empower, that, like make it interesting for them, and I mean let them approach the reality, the medias they are following with the eyes of the fact checker. So it's a completely different picture. And what do you find out? And actually that was quite empowering, because they said, we can challenge the adults' lives and the politicians, and we can see things there. Then after they do this difficult exercise, let's admit it, then there was a debate in the school classrooms where we kind of were able to challenge them, and the teachers were challenging them on the what they found, and we get the kind of critical approach. And then finally we try to encourage them to apply in their media, so we have to have a lasting impact. And finally this goes to this little bit like a share it or not type of thing. And that's how these youngsters can make the difference now, and in the future they are of course enabled to vote as well. Some of the materials we provided for the students, quite simple. This was quick translation on the Finnish thing, but just on the disinformation, and basically starting with the thing that you do not want to get cheated online, do you? It's like a kind of putting the question there, not trying to teach, but trying to get them interested. And I mean, nobody wants to get cheated if it's giving a good one. Then we guide them with some tools we have learned in the things. So check titles, picture, check the story, and towards your own judgment. And we are not saying like no to everything. So please share good content. I mean, that's a social media is great for that one, but be critical on this thing. This was just one example, and we will share them. This is how we did it, kind of trying to apply our methodology in the school systems. But I think I'm not going here quite close that much because you will have it all as a slides. But it's a basic fact-checking process. When we try to encourage and empower them with the tools, and let's face it, there is a lot of very interesting tools to find out on the pictures we've talked about. Why don't we try to develop them so that everybody can use them, not just the journalists? Because I mean, that's why we get masses like, oh, I'm really curious. Is this picture really taken in Helsinki or in Sarajevo, or was it somewhere else? This is investigative journalism tools. But if it's made easy, those could be used by everyone on things. This is one European project that we found out. I'm not too familiar, but it looks very promising. I think Commission is doing good work with funding these type of things. But now they have to be applied, because outside that, it's not money well used. There is plenty of these guys. This is an example. Municipal election 2016. We tested first with a 14 years old. Here we see the panel in the end in the picture of the real candidates for the municipal elections, and we see the 14-year-old Kari students following it and basically doing online fact-checking as well. They of course prepared very well for the debates as well, so they were able to make some very interesting remarks. For example, you can read it all, but we had a case where although political parties start to talk, of course, how much they invest in education. And of course, everybody's saying that, and how was it in the last season? And all parties say that education is, of course, the most important thing and all that. But the youngsters that really went to the evidence that showed that actually they had cut on education in this city, and so they were really able to challenge the politicians, and I mean that was a kind of a big win for them. That actually, and then it led to a very good debate afterwards. And I mean even the candidates were really happy. They said that they haven't participated as well prepared panel during the elections at that time. Municipal elections was very interesting case study because in Finland they are considering to lower the age from 18 to 16 because these are really the things that matter for the youngsters. I mean, these are really local things, who is school, recreational activities and so on. All will be shared online, but the most important and let's say interesting thing was of course that the students really like this. So they really, Kari think had problems, and the teachers just like calm them down and like, okay, let's take step by step, but they were really prone to go for something new. So they really took it for themselves, and we were happy. And as a Faktabaari, we just stayed a little bit aside and made some contributions and let them adapt the methods and find and use their own media that I don't have any idea how this could work in Snapchat, but perhaps one day. We are preparing now for the presidential election, and this is going to be interesting. Then we are talking about the fake news. It's not such a big problem, probably like in many of the countries in this area with the Ukrainian colleagues or what we heard yesterday or something like that, but it's still an issue, and we will see some of that one for sure. But this is also interesting for youngsters, because then it's not like nitty-gritties, percentages here and there. It's about real, somebody is manipulating you, and you don't want to be fooled, do you? And then we are talking nowadays more and more internet literacy, because as we know, it's visual, it's all internet. Very few of the kids really read much more than that. And we take it also as a case study for the European elections 2019, because the thematics are a little bit similar. This is what I see as a kind of summary and inspiration, hopefully for some of you. A kind of summary. The elections are really important occasions. I mean, people are talking about, adults are talking about it in whatever tone, so kids are absorbing something on that one, but they could do their share as well. And we think that when you engage the kids, actually the parents get interested as well, because they are interested at least at what are being told to kids. And if the approach is, let's say, transparent fact-checking, then we don't take a political bias on things. And I sincerely believe that this empowering the future voters is one of the most sustainable resilience against post-truth, self-realizing prophecy, because if we are talking about it all the time, it was actually told here as well, it will happen as well. We have to be positive on this one. We have to kind of get some kind of tool and democratize this somehow, sort of the fact-checking. There is always the professionals, so to say, the good journalists and all that, and these are all needed, but it's nothing away from them. Fact-checking as an approach, sources, how to get there. That's where the kids need help. And then this is just an idea we are kind of trying to add on with this media literacy thing. For the European Parliamentary elections would be a very interesting occasion to test it in different countries, in kind of different fact bars or whatever. So we all have a different media landscape. It's a different approach. Finland might be some strange thing on many of the things, but if you adapt these transparent methods to your own countries in a way, so it could still make a difference, and the themes are the same. We are talking still about the same elected people for the European Parliament, so it really could be a kind of a transnational test case. And for that, we encourage you to have a look at how your national fact-checkers are doing. I can provide, there is a list in the references, so have at least a look what they are doing. Could you find some sort of similar type of cooperations with them? And try how this kind of approach might work in your countries. For the rest, I just think that the easiest way, we built with Kari a Twitter account that as this progresses, the easiest way to get kind of updated might be to start following our Twitter account, FaktabaariEDU, so we keep you informed when we are making progress with our things. And these are some more materials you could have a look. All the materials are there in FaktabaariEDU, my presentation, Kari's presentation, and the contact information. 2nd of April is a International Fact-Checking Day, so it's a very interesting. Follow what's happening on that one if you get interested, and rest of that, cheers. This is for Joanna for all the good service in the end.